The story begins when we see the city of Los Angeles at night, where a truck is traveling on the road. This is not an ordinary truck, but one that carries millions of dollars and transports them to the bank. In this truck, there are 2 guards in the front and 2 guards in the back. Then suddenly, the truck stops outside a donut shop. Actually, the guards are hungry, so 2 guards get out of the vehicle to buy food from the shop. While the 2 guards stay inside the vehicle for its safety, a black-colored car arrives. 4 people get out of it and cover their faces with masks. As soon as the 2 guards come out with food, the masked people point guns at the guards. A guard sitting inside the truck sees this and quickly informs the police. Then a masked thief comes to the guard inside the truck and orders him to get out. But when the guard refuses to get out, the thief makes a hole in the truck's window, inserts a rope, and pulls out the entire window with a car. Now the guard tries to run, but the thief kills him. Hearing the gunshot, the police quickly arrive at the scene. Now there is firing between the thieves and the police. After a lot of gunfire, they kill all the police officers. By watching their shooting skills, we realize that these are not ordinary thieves, but rather retired U.S. military personnel. Now another associate of these thieves calls them and tells them to leave immediately because more police are coming. Hearing this, they quickly steal the truck and leave. But before leaving, they plant a bomb and detonate it so that the police don't find any evidence against them. A short while later, they arrive at their hideout where they change their clothes. Here, the team leader, Roy, is very angry at everyone because their plan was to steal the truck silently without killing anyone. But now these people have killed some police officers, so the police will be searching for them from all directions. We learned that the truck they stole was completely empty. There was not a single dollar in it, and they knew this beforehand because they are planning a much bigger heist. Here, one of the team's associates named Tony tells his leader Roy that they should send someone to the place where they stole the truck to find out what the police will do. Roy likes Tony's idea, so Roy sends one of his associates named Bosco to that place. The team leader Roy takes Tony's advice very seriously because Tony is a very clever and intelligent person. He is also a very good driver. In the next scene, we see Detective Nick. Nick is a tough police officer who doesn't get along with thieves at all, and especially he pursues thieves relentlessly. Also, Nick is very much of a womanizer and is always around girls. Today, he sneaks in through his house window. As soon as he enters the house, he opens the refrigerator and starts eating. Then his wife arrives. We learn that these two don't get along much. But then Nick does something that makes his wife very angry. Nick sends a message meant for his girlfriend to his wife by mistake. His wife becomes very angry after reading it and leaves with her children. Nick tries hard to stop his wife, but she doesn't listen to him. Now frustrated, Nick sits on his house sofa, and then he gets a call about the robbery that happened that night. After this, Nick goes straight to the place where the thieves killed some officers and also stole a truck. Nick notes everything very carefully. Nick asks what was in the truck. An officer tells him that the truck was completely empty. Hearing this, Nick becomes thoughtful. Why would someone kill for an empty truck? But slowly, Nick begins to understand that these thieves must be planning something big. So he asks the others if they found any fingerprints of these thieves. They say no. These thieves were very clever. They planted a bomb before leaving to erase all their fingerprints. Now, when Nick cannot find another way to catch these thieves, he tells his colleagues that he needs all the CCTV footage from here. Saying this, he leaves. At some distance, we see Bosco, whom Roy sent here on Tony's advice to find out who would be handling this case. Bosco quietly takes photos of Detective Nick and his team and sends them directly to his leader, Roy. When Roy sees those photos, he realizes that Detective Nick will be handling this case. After this, Roy starts researching Nick, and Roy learns that Detective Nick is a very eccentric person. Everyone calls him a rogue police officer. He doesn't listen to the government and solves cases as he pleases. Also, Roy learns that once Nick pursues a case, he solves it no matter what. Seeing all this, Roy understands that we are dealing with a very dangerous man. Now we see Nick, who starts working on solving the case with his colleagues. Nick tells his colleagues that he needs details of all the robberies that have happened here. Then one of his colleagues says that there have been several robberies in Los Angeles in the last 3 months, but all these robberies have been done so carefully that we haven't found any fingerprints of the thieves or any evidence against them. Hearing this, Nick understands that these thieves are very shrewd because they are planning crimes so perfectly and confronting the police like soldiers. This shows that all these thieves were previously in the army. So Nick tells his colleagues to make a list of all those people who were previously in the army and then went to jail. Now, while doing research, Nick's team finds out about a man named Roy, who was once in the U.S. Army, but then he went to jail for a murder case. After serving his sentence, Roy is now free. Hearing this, Nick asks his colleague when Roy was released from jail. Now, when Nick's colleague finds out that date, he is shocked. Since Roy came out of jail, robberies have been happening in Los Angeles. So Nick is now completely convinced that Roy is behind all these robberies, and Roy has an entire team with him. They learn that Roy has a close relationship with a man named Tony. Tony is a bartender, and Roy often goes to the bar to meet Tony. As soon as they find out about this, Nick goes straight to that bar where Tony works as a bartender. Here, Nick sees Tony and acts completely normal in the bar with Tony. Nick doesn't reveal that he is a police detective. Instead, Nick makes casual conversation with Tony. But as soon as Tony's shift ends and he gets into his car, Nick comes and gives Tony a hard punch, knocking him unconscious. After a while, when Tony wakes up, he finds himself in an unfamiliar place. Tony doesn't understand how he got here. As soon as he comes out of the room, he sees Nick and his team dancing with some girls. When Nick sees Tony, he sits him on a chair and asks him why he committed robbery and for whom does he work. Hearing this, Tony smiles and says that you have kidnapped the wrong person. I am not that kind of guy. I am an honest man working in a bar. Hearing this, Nick shows him a photo where Tony was standing with Roy. Nick asks Tony what he is doing with this man in this photo. Seeing this, Tony realizes that these people have discovered his truth. But Tony still denies it and says that in this photo, it is not me, but someone else. Then one of Nick's colleagues tells Tony that you are just one step away from death, and yet you are still lying. So tell us the entire truth, or else you will be beaten. But Tony completely refuses to tell them anything. Seeing this, Nick gets angry and sends all the girls present there out. After this, Nick grabs Tony by the throat and tells him that you might be thinking that we will put you in jail, but that is not the case at all. We will keep torturing you until you tell the truth. Now, Tony realizes that these people won't let him go unless he tells the truth. So Tony starts telling everything. He says that he doesn't know much. He doesn't even know how to use a gun. I am just their driver, and during robberies, I drive the car. Then Nick asks, how did you first meet these people? Tony replies that whoever comes to the bar where I work, they all know that I am a very good driver. That's why one day a man who worked with me in the bar introduced me to Bosco, and Bosco took me to Roy. Bosco told Roy about me, saying that this is a very good driver. At first, Roy wasn't very confident in my driving, but when Roy sat in the car for a test drive and saw my driving skills, he was very impressed and included me in his team. After that, I robbed a bank for the first time with them. After the bank robbery, I got my share of the money. That's how it has been going on since then. I rob banks with them and get my share of the money. Apart from this, I don't know anything because I just stand outside the bank with the car and drive them away after the robbery. Then Nick asks where they will commit the next robbery. Tony replies that he doesn't know anything because he is just their driver. They don't tell him anything. One day before they commit a robbery, they tell him where they will steal from, and after the robbery, they give him his share and send him away. After hearing all this, Nick tells Tony that you can go, but from today, you have to work for us. Whatever you find out from them, you have to tell us everything. So I am freeing you instead of putting you in jail. After this, Tony leaves. Now Nick has all the details of these thieves, but the biggest problem for Nick is that he has no evidence to catch them. So they wait for when they will commit the next robbery, and they will catch them red-handed. In the next scene, we see Roy, who brings his entire team in a car outside the largest bank in Los Angeles. After this, Roy takes his entire team to a building near the bank and says that this bank is the largest federal bank in Los Angeles that no one has ever robbed, but our next target is this bank. Roy says that it's not like no one has ever tried to rob this bank. In fact, people have attempted to rob it 57 times, but every single time, the thieves ended up losing their lives because the security here is unbelievably strict. If anyone stands outside the bank and watches it for more than 2 minutes, the guards immediately arrest them. So robbing from here is difficult, but not impossible. After this, Roy comes to the hideout and starts explaining the plan to his associates. He says that this bank has $500 to $700 million in cash every day. Because of such a large amount in the bank, there are security guards at every place. And the worst thing for us is that this bank has serial numbers for each note, and these numbers are registered in the computer. So if someone steals money from this bank and uses it anywhere in the world, the bank can track that person within 2 minutes because they have the note number. Now, after hearing all this, Roy's associates ask, how will we commit the robbery then? Then Roy explains that because this is the largest bank in Los Angeles, all the money from other smaller banks in Los Angeles comes to this bank. When these people start counting the money with machines, the machines separate old and damaged notes. After that, all the old and damaged notes are entered into the computer, their serial numbers are deleted from the computer's data, and then these notes are put into a machine to be destroyed and turned into garbage. In this way, the bank has no record of the destroyed notes. And every day they destroy $30 million out of $500 to $700 million. We need to steal those old and damaged $30 million notes before they are destroyed. In this way, if we use those notes anywhere in the world, the bank cannot catch us because they won't have the serial numbers of those old notes. Then hearing all this, everyone becomes thoughtful and asks how we will get inside. Then Roy explains the next plan. He says that we have stolen the bank's truck. We will wear the guard's clothes and enter from the back of the bank because there is not much security on the back route. They only check the driver. But before we carry out this mission, we need to send someone inside the bank to scout about it properly. And the very next day, Tony gets a job as a courier boy at a restaurant near the bank. Now, as soon as a lady inside the bank orders food, instead of picking up one parcel, Tony picks up 2 parcels and goes inside the bank. As soon as he enters, Tony is thoroughly checked, and then a card is given to Tony at the counter, which allows him to enter the bank anytime. After this, Tony delivers the food to the lady. After delivering the food to the lady, Tony goes to the bathroom and hides a second parcel above the bathroom ceiling. But as soon as he leaves the bank, Nick's team sees him because Nick's team has been keeping an eye on Tony. Now, when Nick's colleague informs Nick that Tony went inside the largest federal bank in Los Angeles, Nick is worried and says that they are not capable enough to rob the Los Angeles Federal Bank because robbing that bank is impossible, and they are not foolish enough to attempt to rob a federal bank. But Nick is still afraid because he knows that these people are crazier than him and they can do anything. That same evening, Roy and his associates are having dinner with their family at a restaurant. Then Detective Nick arrives there. Tony also sees Nick, and Tony gets scared because he was worried that Nick might tell Roy that he is working with them in front of Roy. And that's exactly what happens. Nick goes straight to Tony and tells him that, "I know you. We met at the gym a few days ago. What are you doing here?" Seeing this, all of Roy's team members start looking at Tony with suspicion. Actually, Nick does this because he wants to create conflict between them, and he succeeds in doing so. Now, after dinner, Roy takes Tony to his hideout. Roy is very angry at Tony and orders his colleagues to check him to make sure he is not a police officer. After this, Roy points a gun at Tony and asks him, "How do you know that police officer, and what have you told the police about us?" Then Tony tells them everything. He says that those people caught me, and before I was caught, he knew about you all. He tried hard to get the truth out of me, but I didn't tell him the entire truth. I told him that I am just your driver, and I freed myself from them. And those people have no idea about our robbery plans. Now, after hearing all this, Roy tells Tony to go and tell those people that we are going to commit a robbery on Friday, and we won't change our decision at any cost. Hearing this, Tony says that doing this would be foolish, and we can be caught. But Roy says that you trust me and do what I tell you to do. Tell Nick. Now, Tony reluctantly leaves for Nick, and after a while, he reaches Nick. Then Nick starts asking Tony about their next plan. But here, Tony first gets angry at Nick and says that you have gotten me killed. Everyone suspected me, and they were going to kill me. But I managed to fool them and escape. Tony tells Nick that you are dealing with very wrong people. They are crazier than you, and they are going to commit a robbery next Friday, and they say no one can stop them. Then Nick asks, which place will they rob? Tony replies that he doesn't know because they never tell him about their plans. That's why I will only find out one day before next Friday. Then I will tell you. Hearing this, Nick says that it's okay. I will figure out where they are going to rob on Friday. After this, Tony leaves, and Nick gets to work. Nick wanted to find out where they would rob next. Nick finds out that Roy has a relationship with a prostitute who works at a brothel. As soon as he finds out about this, Nick goes straight to that club. A girl comes to Nick there and starts dancing with him. After that, Nick takes the girl to a room. Nick wants to take advantage of the girl because he knows that this girl has a relationship with Roy. So Nick gets close to the girl, and she tells him that they are going to commit the next robbery at Pico Rivera Bank. Hearing this, Nick is very happy because now Nick knows their next target. But as soon as Nick comes out of the room, Roy arrives there, and the two of them ignore each other and go their separate ways. Here we learn that Roy intentionally told his girlfriend to tell Nick about the bank. Now finally the day comes when they commit the robbery. After this, all of them start preparing, and on the other side, Nick and his team are also getting ready. Here, both the police and the thieves are worried because both groups knew that anything could happen today. A short while later, the thieves team enters Pico Rivera Bank and quickly takes everyone hostage. Now, after taking full control of the bank, Roy picks up the bank manager and tells him to call the police. When the manager calls the police, Roy tells the manager his conditions. He says we need $10 million in a helicopter, and we don't want to see any police officer outside. If the police don't deliver the money on time, we will start killing people one by one. Meanwhile, Nick stands outside the bank with his colleagues, and then local police vehicles arrive. Nick argues with them that this is our case. We have been working on catching them for the past several days, so you all leave from here. Now, Roy quietly looks out the window and realizes that more police vehicles have arrived. Seeing this, Roy gets angry and tells his man to take a girl to a room and shoot her. Now, following his leader's orders, the man does exactly that and takes a girl to a room and shoots her. Hearing the gunshot, all the police officers standing outside become alert. Then the police call the bank's manager from outside. Then the bank manager tells the police that they need to arrange a helicopter and $10 million immediately because the late delivery of money caused them to kill a girl. If you delay anymore, they will kill us too. Then the police tell the manager not to worry. We will soon arrange a helicopter and the money. Then we see one of the thieves' associates named Mac. Mac is a hacker and has hacked the phone line of the largest federal bank in Los Angeles. Mac calls his associates who are present in Pico Rivera Bank and tells them that you quickly load the money in the truck because it's time for the truck to leave Pico Rivera Bank for the largest federal bank in Los Angeles. After this, the thieves take the manager to the vault and have him open it. After the vault opens, they take all the money out and load it into a truck. Now, after all the work is complete, they plant a large bomb in the bank and detonate it. Hearing the sound of the bomb, the police outside think that they have broken the vault, but Nick feels that something is wrong. Then Nick's attention falls on the sewerage line there. Seeing it, Nick realizes that this is not the vault, but the sound of breaking the tunnel. Realizing this, Nick enters the bank. Inside, they see that all the people the thieves had taken hostage are safe. And when Nick goes to the room where the thieves shot the girl, he realizes that they haven't killed any girl. The girl is completely fine, and the gunshot sound was just a drama. And when they reach the room near the vault, they see a large hole. Seeing this, they realize that the thieves have fooled them and escaped through the sewerage line. Meanwhile, we see Roy and one of his associates wearing bank guard's clothes and driving a truck. This is the same truck we saw at the beginning of the story, but now they have repainted it and completely changed its design so that it looks exactly like an original bank truck carrying money. And now they have taken all the money from the vault of Pico Rivera Bank where they robbed, and they have loaded it in the truck. And now they are taking this money towards the largest federal bank in Los Angeles. Meanwhile, we see Roy's hacker associate who has hacked the contact line of Los Angeles Federal Bank. And here he calls the guards of the Los Angeles Federal Bank and tells them that our truck carrying money will arrive in a short while. And here we discover the truth that they didn't just steal the money. They are going to exchange the money they stole from Pico Rivera Bank for old notes at the largest federal bank in Los Angeles. Because they don't want to keep the money they just stole right now. Because if they steal this money now, the serial numbers of these notes are registered in the federal bank's computer. And because of that, they can be caught. So now they want to exchange these notes for new notes that the bank doesn't have serial numbers for. And they want to steal the old torn notes that don't have serial numbers in the bank's record. And after a short while, they reach the back of the federal bank where a guard at the gate stops them. And they showed the guard a fake ID that looked completely real. So the guard cannot identify the fake ID. Also, they were already told on the phone that the truck would arrive in a while. So the guard has no suspicion that thieves are sitting in this truck instead of guards. After this, the guard allows the truck to enter. As soon as they enter, they take out 2 large boxes of money from the truck. These are the same notes they just stole from Pico Rivera Bank's vault, and they take these 2 boxes of money to the counting place. Here we see that they have hidden Tony in one of the boxes of money, and when they reach the counting place, a guard comes and tells them that it will take time to count the money, so you all wait outside the counting department. After this, the guard takes the box of money where Tony is hidden to the inside of the counting department. Here, Roy calls his associate Bosco and tells him that Tony has reached the counting department, so you quickly cut off the electricity here. Now Bosco, who had sneaked in below on the lower floor beforehand, cuts off all the electricity in the bank from there. Because of the power outage, all the people working in the counting department leave the department and wait for the electricity to be fixed. Now Tony is alone in the entire department inside a box of money. After this, Tony turns on a strobe light, which blurs all the cameras. After the cameras are blurred, Tony quickly comes out of the box of money and sees that there is no one here. Now Tony quickly starts filling bags with those torn old notes, which have already been counted once, and the guard will not count these notes again. These are the notes whose serial numbers were deleted from the computer data and were going to be destroyed. Now Tony quickly fills several bags with money and starts throwing them into the garbage can. Because after a while, a garbage truck will come and think it's garbage and throw it out. Then these people will pick up this money. Meanwhile, the guards in the control room start suspecting how all the cameras suddenly malfunction. So some guards start coming towards the counting department. Seeing this, Roy tells Tony through a wireless mic to quickly throw all the money into the garbage box because some guards are coming towards you. Hearing this, Tony gets scared and starts filling the money into bags even faster and throwing them into the garbage box. Now, after throwing a lot of money into the garbage box, Tony realizes that the guards must be arriving soon. So Tony quickly opens the ventilation grill, and as soon as the guards arrive, Tony has already entered the ventilation route. Now, the guards in the department start counting the money, and the money's exactly right. All the money from Pico Rivera Bank is present there, and the guards don't realize that money has been stolen from here because Tony has stolen the money that they had already counted. Now, after the money is complete, the guards tell Roy that the money is complete. You can go now. Hearing this, Roy and his associate leave, and just then a guard comes to take the garbage box that Tony had filled with money and takes it to the garbage truck. Meanwhile, the lady who had ordered food a few days ago orders food again from the restaurant near the bank. But this time, Mac, the hacker of the Thieves, picks up the call because he has hacked the restaurant's contact line. Mac tells the lady that your food will be at your place in 5 minutes. Now here, Tony comes through the ventilation route to the place where he had hidden a parcel above the bathroom ceiling a few days ago. And from there, Tony comes down and goes straight to the lady and gives her the food. After this, Tony comes out of the bank without any hindrance because he had a courier boy card, which made the guards not suspect Tony. And the guards let Tony go thinking he is a courier boy. But then the bank guards get a call in which the lady who ordered food says that this food is several days old, so don't let that courier boy leave. But by then, it was too late because Tony had already left. Meanwhile, the garbage truck empties the garbage box containing the money. As soon as the garbage truck starts to leave, Roy and his associate get in their truck and start following the garbage truck. But then on the signal, another garbage truck of the same type comes, and the drivers of both vehicles gesture to each other and go on different routes. Here, Roy cannot note down the number plate of the garbage truck and starts following one truck. Meanwhile, Nick's team is searching for the thieves all over the city, and then they see Tony on the road. Seeing Tony, they immediately catch him, and Nick starts beating Tony badly because Nick realized that Tony has fooled them. Here, Tony tells Nick the entire truth and also gives Nick Roy's location. Meanwhile, on the other hand, Roy, following the garbage truck, reaches the place where the bank empties the garbage. Now, after the garbage truck is emptied, they start picking up the bags that Tony had filled with money from the garbage, and Roy keeps all those bags in the back of his vehicle. But Roy doesn't check what is actually in those bags. Then Roy's hacker associate, Mac, calls Roy. Mac tells Roy that the police have caught Tony, and Tony has given the police your location. So leave from where you are because the police will be arriving soon. Hearing this news, Roy and his associates get in the car and leave from there. After going some distance, they get stuck in traffic. Then Nick sees them from behind. Seeing Roy, Nick and his team start preparing. Nick handcuffs Tony in the car. Here, Roy also realizes that Nick has seen him, so they also get ready, and immediately firing starts between them, and bullets fly from all directions. One bullet hits Bosco's neck, and Bosco is killed. Seeing this, Roy gets very angry and kills the police officer who shot Bosco. Then the police kill Roy's other associate. Now, because Roy is alone, the police are overpowering him, so Roy starts to flee. Then Nick also starts chasing him. After going some distance, when Roy is jumping over a container, Nick shoots him from behind, and Roy is seriously injured. Now Roy, saving himself, hides behind a car, and then Nick arrives there. Nick tells Roy to surrender, but instead of surrendering, Roy points a gun at Nick. Then Nick retaliates and shoots Roy with bullets, and Roy is killed. Now Nick has brought all the thieves to their end. Only Tony remains, and as soon as Nick comes back to his car, he sees that Tony has freed himself and escaped. Seeing this, Nick gets very angry. Now when Nick checks the bags in Roy's car, he realizes that these bags don't contain money but garbage. That's why Nick cannot understand how those people could be so foolish that they gave their lives for garbage. After a while, the FBI team arrives there, and the FBI team sees that no money has been stolen from the bank because these thieves stole garbage instead of money. So the FBI closes this case. But Nick thinks about this robbery for several days, and then his attention falls on the photo of the last surviving person from the Thieves team, and it is none other than Tony. So Nick goes to the bar where Tony used to work. Nick thought that maybe I will find some clue here. Now when Nick arrives there, the bar owner tells him that Tony quit his job and left 2 days ago. Now, as Nick is leaving, his attention falls on a photo in front showing Tony sitting with a football team. Mac, the hacker of the Thieves, is also there with Tony, and we also see the man who was driving the truck with the real money that the police had no idea about. Then Nick sees that there are federal bank employees everywhere here, so he goes outside. And when he comes outside, he sees that next to the bar where Tony used to work is the federal bank. And here Nick realizes the entire truth. The mastermind of this entire game was Tony. While working at the bar next to the bank, Tony obtained every piece of information from the bank employees in an intoxicated state. And he also included the driver of the garbage truck that picks up trash from the bank and his team. Tony planned this entire robbery. He didn't just fool me, he also fooled Roy and his team. And he stole an amount that the bank has no record of. And now, even though I know everything, I cannot catch him because I have no evidence against him. At the end of the movie, we see Tony at a bar in London, and he still works as a bartender. But this time, his bar is next to a diamond exchange company. Then when an employee of the diamond exchange company comes to Tony, Tony gives him a free drink. Seeing this, we realize that this time, Tony's next target is the diamond exchange company. With this, the story ends. We hope you enjoyed the ride. See you in the next movie ride.